What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Over the Octagon podcast in a way different setting than what you normally see us behind the screen at our fucking little desk, looking like nerds, talking fights and MMA. This time we're in the gym with a friend who is making his pro debut June 14th for Art of War. Help me welcome Eman Hardy. Eman, what's up, brother?
How you doing?
Appreciate you coming on.
Yes, sir.
Don't forget, if you're not already, hit that subscribe button, subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up, like the video. All right, got all that out of the way. All right, Eman, you're fighting June 14th.
Yes, sir.
Art of War, pro debut. Before we get into any of that, how did you get here? Like, I know you from training in here a little bit, right? Yeah. But I don't know you super well. So, like, how did you get to this point to become a professional MMA fighter? I mean, when did you start? How do you, like, who makes the decision, like, oh, I'm going to get punched in the face and beat other people up for a living?
Hey, man, it all started from, I started watching UFC when I was, like, really young. So when I got into that, it was just always in the back of my head. It's like something I wanted to do. But then, you're in school, you trying to figure out college and all this and that. So I kind of went down that route. But then just one day I was just like, you know what, let me go to a gym. And then it's been a wrap since then.
Okay. All right. So you've been watching UFC since you were real little. So 2 questions to expand upon that then.
Yeah,
who's your favorite fighter currently, and then who's your favorite fighter all time? And I'm 1,000% going to judge you based off these answers.
So right now, it's probably a tie between Jack Della Maddalena and Corey Sandhagen.
Okay.
And all time, that's also a tie. It's between Jose Aldo and Mark Hunt.
Okay.
Yeah.
OG.
Yeah.
All right. Dude, it's so interesting. So I think Patchy Mix, who just signed to the UFC from Bellator, is fighting Mario Batista, who just beat Jose Aldo before his last loss or whatever. And we were just talking about this last night. Like, I love Jose Aldo, and that fight was whack as fuck. So it's forever fuck Mario Batista. But anyway, that Jose Aldo just made me think of that. So that's awesome. Mark Hunt, Jose Aldo. For me, and I've talked about this on the show a lot, and you might remember this, there was a show back in the day with them guys that had the Tap Out brand.
Yeah.
There was like, I forget their fucking names, but they had like a reality show. So the first fighter that I ever saw was Donald Cerrone.
Yeah.
Because he was like, got sponsored by Tap Out on this like reality show that they did, and they went and watched him fight.
Yeah.
And he wore the fucking cowboy hat and whatever. So that's like my introduction and kind of my favorite fighter from back in the day.
Yeah.
And then now, I'm a big Ilia Topuria guy. So, because how can you not be?
Yeah, I feel you on that.
You know what I'm saying? All right, so you kind of just got into this. How long have you been doing this, training, I guess, just martial arts in general, and then more specifically MMA?
I started training I want to say mid 2020.
Okay.
So I started doing that, and at first it was strictly jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
So I was at another gym in Newark, and I started competing later that year, 6 months in. I was just doing BJJ tournaments. And at one of the tournaments, I ran into my gym in 302, which was Gentleman's at the time. So I ran into some of them, and I met some people, and I was just like, hey, you just get the thought in your head. So then one day I went to go cross train over there, and I just was like, the difference between my old gym and this gym was night and day. So I switched over there, and then within that's when I started doing everything. I had a real Muay Thai coach, real jiu-jitsu, real wrestling, all that. And then I want to say about a year later, I took a fight at Art of War.
Okay.
Yeah, so I want to say that took about 2.5, 3 years. So I took my first fight.
From the time you started training jiu-jitsu. Yeah. All right. And then so Art of War, you fought Art of War before amateur, right?
Yes, sir.
And Stellar.
Yes, sir.
Which is in Delaware. A lot of people don't know this. We watched, I think, your last fight. Was that one with Stellar?
Art of War, my last one.
That one was your last one? All right, we watched your last one with Art of War. And that dude was huge. You were fighting up like 2 weight classes or something. So in amateur, give me like a humble brag a little bit. So what was you were what, a 3-division champion in amateur?
Two.
3 division, 2 different promotions.
Yes, sir.
Right? You had a Stellar belt and two Stellar,
one Art of War? 1 Stellar, 2 Art of War. 1
Stellar belt, 1 Art of War belt in amateur. What was your amateur record? What did you finish your amateur career record with?
I think I finished 6-2.
6-2. All right. And now you turn pro. You're fighting, we've talked about this before. You're fighting 155.
Yes, sir.
For good.
Maybe. I don't know yet. I might go on a 45 later.
Okay.
Yeah.
You might go down even more.
Yeah.
Depends. Okay.
So.
Yeah, I mean, do you feel like, we talked about this a little bit when I first got here, you have about 3 weeks, right? Or 3 weeks, I guess, to the day.
Yep.
Before your fight. Do you feel like you have like the weight situation dialed in, or are you kind of figuring it out as you go? I mean, you've made 155 before.
I feel like I got all the tools I need to make it, and I've made it last time in like way worse conditions. It's like the first time I think I told you, I started my cut from like 192. And I was like 192 like a month and a half out.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, and I made it pretty, it was easy. The dieting was just hard, but like other than that, it was pretty easy. So
yeah, because your last amateur fight, you literally ate ice cream the day before the fight, right?
At all. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I feel pretty confident in it. And I got teammates that are fighting on the card with me, and another teammate he's fighting the same weight class, and this is his first time cutting there. This is my second, so we kind of like in a similar boat. So I feel like since we cutting together, I held him accountable, he holds me accountable. So it's really gonna be hard for me this time.
All right. So, and who else is fighting? Sheamus is fighting on that card?
Nah, Sheamus is fighting the week before.
Okay.
Sheamus and Paul fighting the week before. So on this card, we got Gerald, and then we got Justin Eric.
Okay. All right. So a couple gentlemen's dudes fights within that 2 weeks.
Yes, sir.
We are here. We're in the gym, which is pretty cool. A little bit different scenery than what Over the Octagon normally does. So let's give them a quick shout out. I train here. A lot of good people train here. Shout out to Trouble for letting us do this podcast. He didn't give a shit at all when I asked him to do this. I was telling Eman before we started, I literally asked him yo, do you care if I do a podcast with Eman before his fight? I don't know, you gotta ask him. And I'm like, I'm fucking asking you, it's your gym. He's like, I ask him, I don't care, So shout out to them for letting us do this, like a first kind of in-person podcast for us. So very cool. But all right, so best gym in Delaware.
Yes, sir.
Fastest growing, best MMA gym in Delaware, some killers in here. Tim Williams was just in here, who also fought in CFFC, who has a big card tonight, and was in the UFC for a little bit. And Andre Petrosky was just in here. You're drilling with some killers.
Yes, sir, always.
Now this is right before we started, I was like, I'm not gonna ask you any basic questions, but I'm about to ask you a basic ass question.
Nah, you good, man.
So, what do you think, where do you have the edge over the opponent? We don't even really know much about this dude. He's coming from Colorado. Nobody knows nothing about him. But the way that we train here, right, obviously gives you a sense of confidence. What does that do for you going into a fight?
Well, I've seen he got a lot of film on YouTube, so we've been studying the shit out of him.
Okay.
But even without that, I feel like I'm stronger, I'm faster. I got the experience fighting at higher weight classes. I got finishes. I got more. He got a couple more fights than me, but the people he fought, they just not on the same level. From the moment I first started, I was fighting against the odds. I fought my first 2 fights up at middleweight, right? Just walking in. So I don't know. I'm I'm gonna go in there the same way I go every fight, just no fear, just locked in, just can't wait to just let everything loose.
So there's all this film on him. I haven't watched that. I'm gonna watch that because I want to know, like, we're incredibly biased, right? And obviously, like, I train here in the same spot with you, so I'm immediately gonna be biased going into that fight specifically. But we always tell people, like, when we're fans of fighters, like as a show, as a podcast, when we're fans of fighters, we're like die hard. I don't give a fuck. Fuck the other guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope he trips on a fucking rock and dies on his way out. Like, I don't give a shit. Fuck that dude. Until the fight's over, I guess, and then we're cool. You know what I'm saying? But like leading up to that.
Of course.
But so I kind of want to know what he's got. What did you see from like watching him on YouTube? Where you feel like you can, I don't know, exploit maybe, or like you seem to think that you're better than him anywhere. What specifically, like how do you see this going, I guess?
That's the thing, man. It's like, if you would ask me a couple weeks ago, I'm like, yeah, I want to knock him out as soon as it starts. Then you asked me like last year, I'm like, I kind of want to tap him out. But now at this point, man, it's just, I see so many openings there, and I just from watching him compared to me, and it's like, I'm super realistic about whoever I'm going against. Like, end of the day, I don't want to be trying to hype myself up, and then I don't see certain shit get knocked out.
Right.
But genuinely, when I watch him fight, he got a good killer instinct. I'll give him that. Like, good finishing instinct. He's gonna bring the fight, but it's just I know how I am.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not. As soon as the fight starts, I'm in his face. I'm either pushing him back, or he's gonna push me back. And he's Mexican, so I'm assuming he's gonna come forward, and it's gonna be fireworks, man. But I don't plan on letting it get that far.
Yeah. Well, and that's, I think I made this comment with you in here maybe a few weeks ago or something, but professional is different, right? You get paid now. So, like, you know what I mean? You don't get paid by the hour, you don't get paid by the minute or the round.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the best way is quick work, in and out, be done with it. So that's what, like, and that's the thing, like, that's what fans love to see too, right? Like, how do you, now it's a little bit different when you try to make this a career for yourself, right? You got to make a name for yourself.
Of course. Right?
A brand, a name for yourself, something that people are going to want to see, somebody that people are going to want to buy tickets for. You know, Andre's teammate, Joe Pfeiffer, came from Art of War, right? Fought a bunch of fights in Art of War and then Contender Series and now in the UFC, obviously. So where do you see, I don't want to go like, you know, you don't have to like look past the opponent necessarily, but like where do you kind of see this thing going? You know, how old are you?
I'm 26.
26. Yeah. So where do you see, like, what's the goal, I guess, end game goal? What do you want to do in the sport?
Honestly, just be one of the best.
All right.
Yeah, I want to get to the UFC, but like not no rush.
Yeah.
I seen a clip that Eddie Alvarez not posted, but he's like doing an interview or something long time, way before I even started training, and it kind of stuck with me. And he was like, win your territory or something like that. It's like build a fan base in a certain area and like get big there, and then take that and then go somewhere else and get big there, and then go to the big show.
Right.
So it's like, listen, I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job of that now, even before my pro debut. I got a lot of people that fuck with me just off like the skills and everything. So just one of this, like I said, just lead, like you said, creating a brand. It's like my brand right now is just beating people the fuck up and doing it like the most violent way possible. And now I got pro rules.
Flip that shit. That's good.
Yes, sir. Now I got pro rules. I got elbows, knees. And in here I simulate that a little bit, but like I know it's gonna feel so much better in there, just being able to like let loose. Yeah. Like I feel like even with amateur fights, I've been fighting kind of handcuffed. When I fight in PA, I can't throw head kicks. And when I go to Delaware, I can throw my head kicks, but I can't elbow to the face or knee. So it's like
amateur rules. You mean? Yeah. Right.
So now with these pro rules, I'm splitting this shit open.
Right, so now you have nothing, right? Like, I mean, it's the same pro rules that everybody's used to watching, like obviously, well, I guess, I don't know, do they, I would assume they follow the 12-6, like that's legal again?
Yeah, it's legal.
The grounded opponent thing has changed. because those are all like not just UFC specific rules, those are like unified MMA rules. So technically you can, you know, knee to somebody as long as their knees aren't down, you know, elbows, put your fucking elbow right in somebody's eye socket.
That's the point.
So some nasty stuff. So what you just said, I'm glad you said it the way you did. First off, it was cool as hell. And then I meant to ask this in the beginning. You get introduced, right? You walk in the cage, you get introduced. They say, the one who knocks, Eman Hardy.
Sir.
That's one of the coolest nicknames, if you can call it that. But like, that's one of the coolest nicknames in fighting, period. So like, where did that come from?
Man, you ever seen Breaking Bad?
Breaking Bad? Yeah, right. I know, right. So, I'm the one who knocks.
Exactly. My nickname used to be Aries, like the God of War.
Okay.
But everybody like the zodiac sign. Like, no, ain't the zodiac sign. So it's like, I don't know. It's like I got another. It's like when I fight, I'm a whole different person in there.
Right.
It's like, so it's like when I go in there, once I get into the cage, it's like something switches. And it's like I said, I just become the danger. Like when I fight, I'm walking forward, I'm pressuring you. Even if you start coming forward to me, I'm going. If I just gotta shell up, I'm countering, I'm throwing back heat. So it's like I'm never the one you gotta worry about getting knocked out. So
okay, the one who knocks.
Exactly.
That's way better than Aries.
Way better.
As far as like, if you compare those two, that's a level up. Like that's a fucking crazy level up. Walkout song. What's the walkout song June 14th? Oh, man. Or what's the vibe, maybe? You don't want to spoil it, but what's the vibe for June 14th?
I don't know if I want to give it out yet, but bro, I'm telling you, man. It's something different than what I'm used to walking out to, but it's gonna fit that theme of like just going out there ready to kill. Like I said, when I go out there, it's a completely different person.
So the last fight I watched, you walked out, I guess you call that a poncho?
Yeah.
You walked out in a poncho, you had all the belts covered up with the poncho. What song did you walk out to on that fight? Do you remember?
That one was Vince Staples' Black and Blue.
Okay, so, which I saw you before I heard the music on the stream.
Yeah.
And I thought you were gonna be walking out to like some mariachi band shit or something, the way you came out. But so, you don't want to give away the specific song. You're going out there to dominate. You feel like you have some kind of walkout music to hype you up that's going to reflect the performance that you're going to put in.
Yeah.
All right. So we talked about your opponent a little bit. We talked about your fight June 14th. We've talked about training here in Gentlemen's, how you got here, you know, kind of your journey where you started, your vision of, you know, and how you kind of see your career going. How active, I guess, do you plan to be as a professional fighter? Do you get a little bit more selective with the fights that you take now as a professional fighter, as opposed to when you're an amateur, you're fighting in 3 different fucking weight classes and 2 different promotions?
Yeah.
Do you, like, that obviously switches, right?
Hell yeah. Well, obviously with the contracts, I can't do what I used to do. Like, I think for my first 3 fights, I think I double booked like twice. So I took a fight, dude pulled out. So then I took a fight for Stella, dude pulled out. So they were trying to find me a replacement. And then we took a fight for Art of War instead. And then like towards the last couple of weeks, they found me somebody. So I was like, all right, let me just finish this fight, then I'm gonna go into that one. Then I lost the debut, turned around, went to go fight the dude at middleweight, won that fight. And then we decided to drop the weight to 170 for that summer. But then, like, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks before that fight, my teammate hit me one day. He's like, yo, it was a pullout on the card that he was on. And he's like, you want to get on there? I'm like, I got a fight already. He said, look, I'm just saying. So I was like, you know what? Because for me personally, when somebody gives me a name, that's when everything, like my blood starts going, I get all hype about the fight. Right. So I kind of already got it in my head. I'm like, yo, I had my coach. I'm like, yo, Isaac was like, yo, we got this guy. So he gave me the okay. So we ended up taking that fight. And then we ended up taking the next fight like 3 weeks later. And I won both. So I think it took a little bit of time after that one because I had a title fight after. But Yeah, man. I want to, for the pros, I don't see myself taking another fight in 2 weeks.
Right.
But I don't know. I still want to stay active. Like, I'll plan on fighting in August after this. But as to like the selecting opponents, it's like, I mean, my coaches know. I mean, even the promoters, they know I'm not ducking no smoke.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm not taking no dumbass fights no more.
Sure, yeah.
Like, the Cade fight, yeah, I took that one. And pro, would I take it? Fuck no.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's not my weight class.
I was about to say, it's 2 weight classes above you, really, yeah.
And even with the fight 2 weeks before that, that was at 75 too. And the only reason we took that is because I was supposed to defend my 55-pound title. Couldn't find nobody, so then I told him to bump the weight class up because I wasn't gonna make the weight. By the time it was getting too close to the day, I wasn't gonna make it. So they found me somebody at 65, and he pulled out. So I was like, "Fuck it, if we gotta bump it up another 10, then let's just do it." So they found me somebody I should notice for that one, and I kind of like double booked again with Cade and him. So that shit, not doing that again.
Right.
But in terms of records, I don't know. I care, but I kind of don't. Like, the dude I'm fighting now, he's 2-0. Okay. So it's like not the ideal record for a debut fight, but we looked at the film on him, and I'm like, he's 2-0, he's good, but it's like, like I said, I feel like if you're gonna be a pro and you want to take this far, you gotta feel like you can beat anybody.
Right.
Not necessarily just anybody, but if it makes even a little bit of sense, confidence gotta take over the rest of the way. You feel me?
Yeah.
So after this one, any fight that makes sense, I'll take it. But like I said, not ducking no smoke though.
Not ducking no smoke. All right. So 2-0 though.
Yeah.
Like you're kind of both at the same point. Like this is your pro debut.
Yeah.
But obviously a ton of amateur experience. So like this, you're kind of both at the same point. It's not like he's 11-4. Like it's not like he's got 10 pro fights, right? Too. It is a little bit of experience, but like you probably know as well as everybody, like on a kind of regional MMA scene like this, like 2-0 is like, that's great, but who are you fighting that you got to 2-0?
I seen who he fought for 2-0 too.
Right. So it's 2-0 is not, I don't know, it's all subjective. And we see a lot of the times with pro fighters who start off, with a really good record in the beginning of their career, 4-0, 5-0, 6-0, whatever. But you really have no gauge on the level of competition that they're fighting, and then they end up in some kind of title capacity in a pro scene. And obviously there you're going to get good competition, and you find out they're as good as advertised, or that record was propped up by trash can ass fights they've been fighting, so people get exposed. So it's hard to go off of just somebody's record, like how good they are. It's the same in the UFC, like you don't really know how good somebody is. Like you watch pretty much every card and fight, right? You watch a lot of UFC still.
Try to.
So, like Carlos Pratis. Carlos Pratis was supposed to fight Jeff Neal. Carlos Pratis looked like a killer. Then the fight falls out at Kansas City, I think it was, and then they ended up booking him versus Ian Gary. It's a totally different opponent fighting Jeff Neal than Ian Gary, right? So, and then you see him kind of get beat up to Ian Gary. It's like Carlos Pratis is still a beast, but there's levels to where people are. Like even in the best of the best in the world in mixed martial arts, there's a huge difference between top 15 to top 10 to top 5 to what the champion is. So it's hard to just go off of somebody's record and kind of gauge what's going to happen in a fight. But you've been watching the film. What do you expect from him off of watching the film? So you think he's kind of like a brawler? You think he's going to march forward? What's his ground? Like, do you expect any kind of wrestling or jiu-jitsu from him?
I'm not gonna lie, if you ask me, I expect wrestling at every fight. Because at every single fight, I can't name one where this hasn't happened. But as soon as I touch him, they're gonna shoot.
Yeah.
So with him, I think I might have to touch him a few times because, like I said, he is Mexican. They got that Mexican warrior spirit.
Yeah.
So I expect him to come forward a little bit, but I feel like that's when my speed is going to frustrate him. He's going to try to hit me. I'm not there, touching him, pop, 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 and then he's going to get frustrated. He's going to shoot at some point.
Yeah.
But like I said, I welcome it. You feel me? It's not too many people in here that can get me down. So
right,
not too worried about it.
There's not too many people in here that can get you down.
No. See, I'm on it.
Yeah. So all right. So. I think that pretty much covers everything that I wanted to talk to you about around this fight. Once you win, once you either choke him out or knock him out, we'll do it again. We'll do a recap of it. We'll do something again, have you back on, and we can talk like a little bit more in depth of how your pro debut goes and what your experience was like and all that kind of stuff. So stay tuned, look out for that. We'll definitely do this again in the future. Shout out to Gentlemen's Jiu-Jitsu again for letting us film this podcast in here. Shout out to Eman for coming on and joining us. I'll give you a minute, whatever you have the floor. Shout out whoever you want to shout out, plug social media stuff, whatever you want. Go ahead.
All right, well, you can follow me on Instagram at Escobar, ESCVBAR MMA. And I just want to shout out my team, like you said, Gentlemen's. My coach is Trouble, Tim. My wrestling coach, Eddie Hall, up there. We got a good room up there. Shout out my mentor, Ryan Cafaro. He's fighting tonight for the CFFC. He's about to be the champ, about to be on his way to the UFC.
Okay.
And like I said, shout out my teammates, Paul Samaru, Justin Ayer. He's on the card with me. Got a lot of killers on that card. All right. Justin Ayer, we got Brandon Bohannon, Jay Watson, Matt and Nick Turnbull. I feel like I'm forgetting people, but Dan Candelaire, my bad, bro. But yeah, you know, like I said, man, it's gonna be a good night, man.
Yeah, it's always you got to put people on the spot to see, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You did pretty fucking good, all right? Because like I've put so many people on the spot without them expecting that, and they're like, shit, you know what I'm saying? And I've had a couple people. I like the shirt. It's like the old wrestling shirt, right?
Yeah.
The old NWO shirt. So, but I had a guy just drop his shirt down with all the sponsors on the back that he had, and he was just like, all right, shit, took his shirt off, and he's like reading off the sponsors because you don't want to forget everybody.
Yeah.
It's not that you're forgotten. It's just you get put on the spot. It's hard. All right, you fucking do it. You come and do it. Have a camera in your face and you do it. But anyway, that's it for us. Special edition episode of Over the Octagon Podcast, live from Gentlemen's Jiu-Jitsu in Wilmington, Delaware. I will plug Eman's social media in the descriptions. Gentlemen's social media is in the descriptions. Make sure you follow them, check it out, what's going on, and then make sure you tune in. Where can people promote the fight? Where can people buy tickets, watch the fight, all that kind of stuff?
Well, if you want to buy tickets, I got tickets on me all the time, so you can DM me on Instagram and either bring the tickets to you or you come pick it up for me here. For the pay-per-view, it's going to be on Star Fund. So the link is going to be up. We'll get the link like the closer we get to the fight. So if you're interested, hit me up and I'll hit you up the moment I get that.
All right, word. So make sure you go follow Eman, look for the links, make sure you tune into his fight, June 14th, The Art of War, pro debut. Big things coming. Big things coming for him. Big things coming for Over the Octagon. That's it, baby. Peace.
Sir.
Appreciate you.
So you already know, man. Thank you.
Hell yeah.